Thunderstorms. Okay, Johannesburg born and raised published cook and marketing manager Nicky Stubbs, who is now based in the mother city, has put together some of her most favorite, heartfelt and easy but memorable recipes in what she refers to as Love Song. The cookbook, which is called for friends and family, is for anyone with any cooking experience. Our producer, Tumi Sedumedi, caught up with her earlier this week during the Joburg leg of her national tour, and she cooked 2 dishes while she told her about the heart she put into the book.
Nicky Stubbs, welcome to Morning Live, and thank you for making the time to speak to us about for friends and family. And you're making us 2 dishes today.
I'm doing my 2 easiest and most crowd-pleasing dishes. I've actually made this chutney chicken with my handbag still slung over my shoulder when I got back from work, with one child in the bath, other one doing homework, and an hour later I had a delicious meal. And the other one is lemon meringue pie, which both are very, very easy.
When you're ready, Nicky.
Okay, so I'll get the chicken into the oven. All it is, very simple ingredients. It's 1 cup of orange juice, 1 packet of onion soup, and another cup of Mrs. Ball's, famous Mrs. Ball's chutney, as you said. It needs a little bit more. And you pour it over 10 to 12 pieces of chicken and into the oven for an hour at 180, and that's that.
Okay.
And an hour later you've got this delicious meal served with brown rice. If you have snobby friends coming around, don't tell them about the onion soup and just toss a bit of coriander over it and they think they're in heaven.
All right. So, Nicky, obviously you've been cooking for some time.
Yeah.
You look very laid back in the kitchen. When was the first time you realized you can cook for people and they'll come back for more?
I always loved cooking. I grew up in a home where food was seen as nourishment and always used for celebrations or as, you know, to comfort people around a table. But when I got to university, I had to put myself through UNISA and pay for my studies. And the easiest way and the quickest way for me to do that was by cooking. And that was when I realized I could do it, and I could do it with love and with huge enjoyment. And so right throughout my life, luckily for me, I've been able to be in one of my 2 passions, either books or cooking.
I'll tell you this about your book for friends and family. It's not as intimidating as a lot of cookbooks I've seen. It's really, it looks welcoming. It looks like the kind of meals I can achieve. Was that conscious on your part?
What happened about a year ago is I sat down at the kitchen table in my house and I was missing my parents terribly. They both died in consecutive years, and I wanted to bring them back and sat down and wrote down all my favorite recipes in one place because they reminded me of them. And I thought, this looks like a book I'd like to have. I'd like all these recipes in one place. And so I submitted it to the publisher, and she came back to me and said she thought it was wonderful, but why didn't I add things like sushi and macaroons? And I said, no, because that's not what this book is. This book, absolutely everybody has to be able to do the recipes. And a friend of mine who I grew up with, Tombi, whose children are 8 and 10, took the book and were able to make the angel cake and the chocolate cake with no supervision. Having said that, it's not only all simple, easy recipes. It stretches right across to the chicken marbets and the creme brulees. But again, another friend of mine who has always been intimidated about creme brulee and thought she wouldn't be able to do it, has tried it and was able to do it quite easily because I tested the recipes so that anybody with any cooking experience can work these recipes.
Getting back to the chicken, what's next now?
Into the oven.
Sure.
I preheated the oven to 180 and it's in there for an hour and you don't touch it.
Okay.
Goodbye chicken. Hello lemon meringue pie. Okay, so I have already crushed the biscuit crumbs. And
what biscuits?
These are tennis biscuits.
Okay.
Good old standard South African tennis biscuits.
Okay.
You could use any, but I love the coconut in the tennis biscuits. I'm going to melt the butter.
Okay.
And mix them together and make a base.
All right.
Okay, so I've melted the butter, Tumi, and I'll take it across, mix it in with the biscuit crumbs made from the tennis biscuits. I think I'll stir it in here. Makes a lovely base. Grab a spoon.
So, Nikki, what are your values and policies on healthy eating?
I think there's so much written about it and so much said about it, but I always fall back on my grandmother's way of eating, which is 3 meals a day with cake and treats for high days and holidays.
So, what do you hope this book does for its readers? I know you weren't trying to show off.
That's exactly it. You've hit the nail on the head. I wasn't trying to show off, and in fact what I set out to do, which was collect all my recipes in one place, isn't what has resulted in this magnificent book. What I hope it does for anyone and everyone who gets it is become their most useful cookbook in the kitchen, and the indispensable one, and the one that they aren't able to live without. So I'm going to separate the eggs, and then mix the condensed milk and lemon juice of 3 lemons, which I've already squeezed.
Okay.
Mix that with the condensed milk. We're now going to make the meringue topping. I'll beat the egg whites until they're stiff, and then add the caster sugar spoonful by spoonful. It's 180 grams of caster sugar and 3 egg whites. And then I'll add a little bit of cream of tartar, about half a teaspoon, and half a teaspoon of baking powder right at the end. Once it's a lovely big thick meringue, we'll pile it on top and then into the oven, also at 180 degrees, for about 20 minutes. Oh, it's perfect. Nice and brown. And so the lemon meringue pie, Tumi, has been left in the oven with the oven off, just to dry it out a little bit more and to set the custard in the middle. And there you have, after an hour, a ready meal.
Thank you. We can't wait to dig in.
Yeah. The lemon meringue pie does need to cool down before we eat it, but by the time we finish the chicken, it should be just right.
Thank you for your time, Nikki.
Thank you so much.
For Friends and Family is available at bookstores nationwide. Do get yourself a copy. You certainly won't regret it.